Tonight, we're going to share some really unsettling stories with you. These aren't your typical crime reports. They're, well, bewildering, genuinely disturbing encounters. And they come from former police officers' firsthand accounts.
Right, people who have seen a lot.
Exactly. We're focusing on those moments they experienced on duty, the really strange, inexplicable things.
And coming from trained observers, these stories carry a certain weight, wouldn't you say? There's a rawness to them.
Definitely. So let's get into the first one. Imagine this. A veteran officer, 30 years on the job, someone who probably thinks they've seen it all. He and his partner, Steve, get a domestic abuse call. Routine, maybe. But they arrive, and the front door is just standing open.
That's an immediate warning sign, isn't it?
For sure. And they step inside,
Yeah.
and this smell hits them. Really strong, potent mix of marijuana and some kind of chemical smell.
Okay, that's unusual. Marijuana, maybe, but chemicals. That suggests something else entirely. Something more dangerous, perhaps.
They announce themselves police, and then they hear this heavy thud from upstairs.
Right.
Steve immediately goes for his weapon. They move up cautiously. 3 doors upstairs. 2 are partly open.
No.
The third one's closed. And that seems to be where the noise came from.
Okay.
The veteran kicks it open. The smell that comes out is just overwhelming. And then they see it. A body, clearly been dead for a while, quite rotted.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is way beyond a simple domestic call.
Way beyond. Weapons drawn, they go in, lights on. Steve's covering the room. The veteran starts clearing the rest of the house. And he said, this wave of intense fear just washed over him then, realizing how bad this was.
Even for an experienced officer, finding something like that unexpectedly, it completely changes the situation. That vulnerability is palpable.
So he checks this small room, no windows, just a dirty cot inside, nothing else. Then suddenly Steve shouts.
What happened?
Back at the first room, believe it or not, there's a guy, shirtless, lying flat on top of a dresser. They hadn't even seen him at first.
On top of the dresser. Okay.
They're yelling at him, gunpoint, get down. And right then, the veteran feels something grab his ankle. From under the bed,
Oh.
he reacts instantly, stomps down. This woman crawls out, frail, clearly high on something.
So 2 people hiding in the room with a dead body.
Yeah. They cuff them both, start taking them downstairs. But it's not over.
I had a feeling this whole scene is just layers of disturbing.
Just as they're heading out, someone comes charging down the stairs from that upper level, knife raised, coming right at them.
Oh, man.
Steve reacts instantly, fires his weapon, stops the threat.
Just like that.
Yeah. Turns out the place was a crack house. The dead woman. Killed by the guy on the dresser. Over drug money, apparently.
Grim.
He got life without parole.
Yeah.
The woman from under the bed got 30 years. The veteran mentioned Steve never felt bad about shooting the guy with a knife. Said he just took out a dangerous person.
A stark end to a horrific call. The kind of thing that must stay with officers. That abrupt shift from unease to lethal force.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears. A different kind of unsettling. Our next story is an alarm call. An old doctor's office.
Okay.
The building was converted, but it still had an attached pharmacy area. Dispatch gets a motion sensor alert from an upstairs office.
Right. Standard procedure. Check it out.
Officers arrive. They've got the key holder with them, but the stairwell door is locked and the key doesn't work. Weird.
Okay. So elevator.
Yep, they had to take the elevator to the second floor. Doors open. Pitch black hallway. Except for one single faint light way down at the end.
That sounds atmospheric, like straight out of a movie. That single light in the darkness is classic suspense.
Totally. Your mind starts playing tricks, right? So they start checking office doors along the hall, all locked. Finally, they find one unlocked.
And inside.
It was like an unused suite. Waiting room, reception desk, some empty exam rooms. They clear it, check everywhere. Nothing. Empty.
Okay, so false alarm, maybe.
That's what they thought. But when they stepped back into the hallway, things had changed. The overhead light that had been on near them was now off. And the light down by the elevators, the faint one, that was now brightly lit.
Huh. Strange. Electrical glitch, maybe?
Maybe, but then the partner just stops. Looks really shaken. He asks the other officer, Did we definitely close and lock all those doors we checked?
Oh.
They look down the hall. Every single office door they had just secured, now standing wide open.
Okay, that's not an electrical glitch. That's bizarre. One door, maybe you missed it, but all of them.
Exactly. The unease just ramps up. They have to go back and re-clear every single office again. Slowly, carefully.
I bet. That's incredibly unnerving.
They finish, finally. They're about to head back to the main waiting area they first checked. and suddenly the main entry door to that suite slams shut,
Odd. Whoa. By itself?
apparently. And at the same exact moment, their police radios just erupt in deafening static, just noise.
Okay, now it's getting genuinely freaky.
Understandably, they're rattled. They head back downstairs fast to find the key holder, tell them what's happening.
Huh.
But he's gone. Not there.
Gone. Where'd he go?
They radio dispatch. Dispatch says, "What are you talking about? The key holder just called and says he's still 5 minutes away."
Wait, but they were let in by someone claiming to be the key holder.
Exactly, so who let them in? The real key holder arrives a few minutes later. The officers describe the guy who met them initially, the one who had the key that didn't work for the stairs but let them use the elevator.
Yeah.
The key holder, a woman, her face just goes white. She says the description, it perfectly matches a doctor. A doctor who used to lease that office upstairs.
Okay.
A doctor who had died by suicide at his summer home several days before this call.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Chilling. Absolutely chilling. So who or what? Open those doors, slam the other one, it just leaves you with questions.
No easy answers there. Okay, story number 3. This one's at an abandoned convenience store.
Right. Another potentially creepy location.
A neighbor called in, reported hearing strange noises from inside. The place was totally empty, stripped bare. No power, no lights working.
Got it. Dark and empty.
The officer goes in, searches the aisles on the ground floor, checks upstairs. Nothing. Just empty space.
Standard check. Found nothing.
So the officer's leaving, walking out, glances back up at the second floor window just as they're stepping outside.
Yeah.
Sees a woman standing there in the window, long gray hair, and this really wide, fixed smile, just staring down.
Okay, that's unsettling, especially in an empty, dark building.
The officer immediately turns around, rushes back inside, up the stairs like lightning, gets to the window empty. Nobody there.
Vanished that quickly. From a closed-off upper floor.
Yeah. The officer thinks, okay, maybe I imagined it. Stress, darkness, So they do another much more thorough search.
Yeah.
Every corner. Still nothing.
Right. Second check. Still clear.
Convinced it was nothing, the officer leaves again. Gets outside. Looks back up at the window.
She's there again.
She's there again. Same spot. Same long gray hair. Same creepy, wide smile. Just watching.
Okay, no, that's not imagination. Something is definitely going on.
The officer goes back in again. This time searching with, serious dread creeping in. Checking everywhere. About to give up, thinking maybe she's hiding really well.
Yeah.
Something catches their eye. Peripheral vision. They look up.
Up.
Up. On the ceiling. Clinging to the ceiling, it looked like. Like she had hooks in her hands and feet, dug into the ceiling tiles. The same woman. Still smiling, that same disturbing smile.
Clinging to the ceiling with hugs. That's physically impossible, isn't it? And deeply disturbing imagery.
Beyond disturbing. And it gets weirder. The officer said the woman just sort of detached herself, floated down, effortlessly.
Right.
Didn't fall, just descended,
Floated.
landed softly. The officer managed to detain her. But on the ride to the station, absolute silence from her, except she just stared, fixed gaze on the officer in the rearview mirror. The whole time. And that smile never left her face.
Wow. Just, wow. What do you even do with that? Was it severe mental illness or something else? Something deliberately tormenting?
The officer was left completely baffled, unsure if it was a mental health crisis or something truly inexplicable and maybe even malevolent. Either way, deeply, profoundly unsettling.
That ambiguity makes it even creepier, I think. The not knowing. The impossibility of it.
For sure. Okay, one last story. This one feels more immediate threat, maybe. Floyd County, Georgia.
Okay.
Officers having a slow night, patrolling these quiet dirt roads out in the county. Woods on both sides, very isolated.
Setting the scene. Remote, dark.
Catches a quick movement out the corner of their eye, sees someone dart off the road into the trees.
Suspicious, maybe? Or just someone taking a shortcut?
The officer hesitates, but decides, okay, should probably check this out. Gets out of the patrol car. Almost immediately hears a branch snap loudly from behind a tree nearby in the darkness.
Okay, definitely someone there.
Calls out, police, show yourself. A figure steps out from the shadows, wearing a mask, completely hiding their face.
It's a mask. Never a good sign in that context.
Officer tells him, take off the mask. The figure just refuses. Doesn't move, doesn't speak, just stands there.
Tense.
And then, like it was planned, another masked person steps out from the trees. This one's holding an axe.
An axe. Okay, this just went from suspicious to potentially very dangerous.
And it gets worse. Suddenly, more figures start emerging from the woods all around, footsteps coming from everywhere.
More? How many?
In moments, the officers is surrounded, at least 10 masked individuals, some others also carrying axes or maybe other tools. It was dark.
Surrounded by 10 masked people with weapons in the middle of nowhere. That's terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. The officer has their gun drawn, pointed, but feels completely outnumbered, overwhelmed, said they felt almost frozen, trapped.
I can only imagine fight or flight, but you're totally boxed in.
Then one of the figures speaks, voice is muffled by the mask, just says 2 words, "Go away."
Go away. Not attacking, just a command.
Yeah, go away. The officer didn't need telling twice. Backed up slowly, got into the car, and got out of there fast. Called for backup immediately.
Smart move. What happened when backup arrived?
They swarmed the area, full search. Found absolutely nothing. The entire group, all 10 plus of them, had just vanished. No tracks, no sign they were ever there.
Vanished. A group that large, with weapons, in the woods. How do they just disappear without a trace?
That's the question. The officer's personal theory, they thought they'd stumbled onto some kind of... Well, the officer described it as a fucked up secret society.
A secret society. Out there in the woods.
Yeah, maybe they were meeting, planning something, who knows. And the police car showing up just disrupted everything. The officer felt maybe the only reason they weren't attacked was because they were police in a marked car, that maybe the car inadvertently saved them.
That is a seriously chilling thought. Stumbling on something like that and being allowed to leave. The coordination, the masks, the disappearance, it points to something very organized and very secretive.
Definitely is a cold feeling. So yeah, 4 stories, 4 incredibly unsettling, bewildering experiences from police officers.
From a horrific hidden crime scene to what sounds like paranormal activity to something just bizarrely impossible, and finally a potentially dangerous group encounter. It covers real range.
It really does. These accounts give you a glimpse into these strange, sometimes terrifying realities that officers can face, things that just don't have easy explanations.
It certainly makes you think about what else might be happening out there, unseen, unexplained, even by those who are supposed to protect and observe.
Thank you for joining us tonight as we shared these accounts. If these stories caught your interest, please do like this, share it, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs.
We appreciate you listening.
We'll be back with more strange stories soon.